How to start qualifying women even though you have no options. I'm a dating coach. I'm the introspective dating coach here in Chicago. I've worked with for big dating companies like RSD in back in 2008, and I'm also one of the top performers right now in school groups like Coach Kyle's Confidence and Self Mastery. Anyway, to get to the point of the video, I want to cover two things: how to actually qualify with intention instead of just using like action. Like a lot of guys say, oh, just take the action and start qualifying. Okay, but like, where does the intention come from in order to start doing that naturally, instead of like being in your head and wanting to like put that in play? The second thing is, how do you generate options, and what's the context and the insight on like having abundance of options, so you can psychologically get yourself to that point, so you can get higher quality results that you were specifically looking for. I've been doing this for 6+ years. Anyway, let's get right into the video, and we'll start off with how to generate options, man. If you're not already approaching women, or you haven't overcame that yet, DM me, or please watch like other videos on it. But essentially, it's getting out of your own way in order for you to naturally start doing this. If you check out women on a daily basis and you're not approaching them, you're essentially stopping yourself. You're stopping your own genuine, authentic curiosity, and you're just standing in your own way of taking the actions that you already want to take. So being able to take away any fear, taking any way away any societal constructs that don't allow you to take the action, that's the type of work that I do. I go in like super in depth in your own psychology in order to unravel that, in order for you to start taking that approach. So after you go through that and you have tons of like options, because you're approaching, you also have good dating pictures on your apps, whatever. Now you have abundance of options. And what I want you to do is start qualifying. The biggest mistake that I made starting off was that I wanted to sleep with a lot of the women, or I wanted things to work out with really physically attractive women. And what I didn't realize is that there's actually tons of attractive women that actually resonate and can relate to you at an emotional level. Because at a ground foundation, if you're not approaching, you don't have the context of different women value different things at different stages of their life. So, for example, you can be like a provider, for example, right? Or you can be a party guy, or you can be whatever, a stable guy, whatever the context is. That will different women value different things. For example, the rock star, the entrepreneurial guy, the whatever the case may be, different women value different things. I say that because from a guy that has slept a ton with tons of women, I can tell you that at the other side of it, when you have them over and you don't like their personality, you don't like their character, you want to kick them out of your house as soon as possible, and it feels bad. For me specifically. So a lot of people can also resonate with this, but let's say I remember that I was dating and sleeping with the most attractive women in the venues, because my one goal was to approach the most attractive women in the clubs and in the venues, and eventually it led down that path. Eventually, when I started talking to these women, and some of them were like into cocaine and into Kim Kardashian, and they were networking with like all these like high status people, and it it won't be fulfilling in all areas of your life, whether that's like if she's hot and emotionally good to you, and you also value her in terms of her like insight and like just everything, man. And so when you reach a certain level of abundance, instead of like trying to make things work and overcompensate and go above and beyond and making feel like it's a waste of time, or they're not worth it, because I felt like that a lot of the time, starting to qualify them and asking them questions like, oh, are you into psychology, for example, in my particular case, right? Everyone is personal. On a person to person basis, it's different. But when you start filtering them out, it's easier for them to connect, especially if you're talking to multiple attractive women at the same time, and you can have these experiences and you can get vulnerable sooner and quicker and intimate as a byproduct. sooner, and you could get into a relationship much sooner as well, if that's your, depending on your intention. So from that perspective, and from that insight, start qualifying for what their character traits are. But I don't want you to have it come from a place of, hate or resentment or things like that. I want you to be charismatic with that approach. For example, if she's has tattoos and you don't like tattoos on women because you're under the impression that they come from single parent households and they have daddy issues. So in that case, when you approach them, you're like, "Oh, you got tattoos. We're not going to get along." I feel like, no, I feel like you're going to have daddy issues. It's a natural push pull. If you're like, you're cute, but you have tattoos, and I feel like you're going to have daddy issues, but I love the fashion. That's a natural push pull, instead of like, again, using the inputs that a lot of people are saying, okay, input this and take the action without the intentionality or the context of where these things are coming from. You're going to get lost in the ether of information. So that's the first point. And once you start qualifying them, you also give them a feeling that you actually care about, something more long term, which, funny enough, a lot of women mm, do enjoy longer term relationships because they feel guilty after one night stands. And so if you can leverage yourself in that way, that's going to be way more powerful. And so that's how to generate options a little bit more, and also how to start qualifying. And I want you to start qualifying them because you become less attached to the outcome. You become less reaction orientated to what she's saying, and you're joking. You're more playful. You're in a more playful state. And that's the gist of it. If there's any more questions on how to qualify them, or the context of where this is coming from, message me below. Or if you want to see real life interactions of me applying these concepts, I post them on Instagram on Premium Expression. So if you want to see live footage of this happening in real time, please check that out. Anyway, that is it. Hopefully you're having an amazing day, and see you in the next video.